Okay, you're on.
I need a speaker.
Today is Monday, December 16th, 2024, and this is the regular scheduled board meeting of the Pocahontas Public Schools. Dr. Arbuckle, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. First of all, let me say I appreciate everybody coming out. We're going to do our student recognitions almost first thing. We've got a couple of housekeeping things we need to do, and we'll go from there. So this being the first regular board meeting after an election, we need to reorganize. We are required by law for the board to reorganize. That means that's our officer positions. They can change, they can stay the same. It's completely up to the will of the board. So how would the board like to proceed?
In my opinion, I'm okay with leaving them the same. I mean, I don't know if we need to move them around. I mean, Britt falls off next year, and then he's president. So, I mean, it's up to you.
I mean,
I'm okay with leaving them the same, but I don't know.
However y'all want it.
that, yeah,
Well, always in the past, what we've done is we've rotated it
Yeah.
where everybody would have an opportunity to serve as president one time during their 5-year term. Don't have to do it like that.
Yeah.
We've made exceptions for that. Of course, when we've got a board member that's got a child graduating, like Brent this year, so we'll let him take, he took his term. So, but it makes no difference to me.
I mean, I'm going to ask the question, Chet, are you willing to serve, or?
Yeah, I will. I've got 3 years before my daughter graduates.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we can move it around. I just didn't want everybody to feel like we had to.
Right, I mean, it is completely, it's the pleasure of the board, so.
Yeah, and I'm fine either way. I'm good with it.
You want it? You don't need it.
If you want to give it up, I'll take it. But as long as it ain't a lot of work, it's a lot of work.
No, there's nothing to it.
Don't get paid any extra. 0 plus 0 is 0.
You may want to do some motions. I mean, it doesn't seem like the board president really does motions. I don't know.
You can.
Can, just don't.
I'm up for what everybody wants to do,
Don't matter to me.
Okay, either way.
You'll need a motion at some point for somebody
Somebody.
to serve as
You gotta have
president.
vice president, and secretary.
Presently, Jennifer, you're vice
Secretary.
president.
Secretary.
Secretary, you're vice president.
He's vice president.
The new board member would come on as secretary, as in the past. And then they would have the option during that 5-year term to serve 1 year as president, if they want to. We've had people in the past that did not want to do that, because it does require you to do certain presentations at the end of the year that a couple of our former board members are not comfortable with.
I guess to make it easier, let's just keep the rotation, whatever. That way, it never
Can you do that?
changes.
Okay, that means Chad would come as president, Jennifer would be vice president, Chris would be secretary.
Okay.
You want to
Perfect.
do that? You want to do that all in one motion?
Yeah.
Okay. So, President, Jennifer, Vice.
When's your first graduation? How long?
27.
27. When's your first graduation?
It's the same as Chad.
Same? Okay. Y'all can fight that out or flip a coin or.
Okay, so Gary, are you making that motion?
Yeah.
Okay. Gary, I need a second.
Second.
Okay, we've had a motion and a second to reorganize as presented. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Motion carries.
He take over now?
Yeah.
Yep.
You come over here.
That's it.
You got a microcopy, didn't I?
I give it to him.
I didn't know I was supposed to start tonight.
I'll start printing a
Welcome
couple.
to your new role.
Okay, so our second item are the approval of minutes. So you have in your packet the minutes from the regular meeting, November 18th, and the special meeting from December 2nd. If there's any questions about those, be glad to answer those. If not, we would just need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the November 18th and December 2nd meetings. Do you want them separate, or can I do
We've always done it, I mean, we've been
Together.
doing them together.
together?
Second.
We have a motion and a second on these approval of the minutes. Everyone in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Everybody opposed, say no. Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, so we have our first presentation of reports. This is where this evening we have quite a few visitors with us. We're going to recognize our state qualifiers for this year. And I'm going to invite our tennis team, our two tennis state qualifiers, and Coach Eddington to come up, and we just want to, we've got a little certificate for you, and then we want to snap a picture. So we had two of our tennis girls make state this year, Bryn Smith and Carly Chester. And I know they represented us well. I'm going to ask Coach Eddington to just say a few words about the season, about the team, and the girls in particular.
These girls have played all 4 years. They've played doubles together all 4 years. They've worked hard every year. Came really close last year to Macon State. This year they went in as a 3 seed into district and lost to the eventual 4th place overall team in state from Brooklyn, and they lost in split sets to them in the finals. So they were runner-up, and they also brought home runner-up for the tennis team in for Pocahontas in district in girls.
Excellent.
Exception.
All right. Get a quick picture. Excellent. Thank you, ladies. Okay, we also have Zane Baltz. Is Zane here? Come on up. Unfortunately, Coach Pills is not here to say a few words about Zane and his golf year this year, since he's coaching basketball. But I wanted to just, again, Zane qualified for the state golf tournament. How'd you do, by the way? I don't even remember. Not well enough to talk about it, huh? Well, listen, I appreciate you representing Pocahontas. I know, you do a good job doing that, and as all of our athletes do, but I appreciate you putting in the work, because that's a lot of work just to make the tournament. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much. We're going to snap. All right, thank you. Okay, next I'd like to have Coach Sydney Bergen come up with the volleyball girls. This is Coach's first year with us, and in her first year she takes our girls to the state tournament. So that's a big accomplishment, and I've told her on a couple of different occasions how proud I am of her and the work the girls put into. I had the opportunity to go over and watch them play, and although that last game didn't go quite as well as I'm sure anybody wanted, they fought hard, they kept working, they kept trying, they didn't give up, and I think that says a lot about Coach, a lot about her team, about the work ethic, and I really appreciate all the work that you guys have put in this year, and I'm going to let Coach give you your certificates at another time, but anything you want to say about the girls and your experience this year?
Like Dr. Arbuckle said, this was my first year, and so I didn't know how it would go, but these girls made my job easy. And Coach Beckton, he made my job easy too. He did a lot of work for me, and I couldn't be more proud of any of them. They were great. So, thank y'all for the support too.
Okay, y'all get in there, get close, and let's get a picture. Do we need a third line? Do you need a third line?
I got it.
Okay. All right, thank you.
My little cues, didn't
I know, right? Okay, Coach Chester.
You guys want to come up here? Football?
Squeeze
All right, guys, I want to tell you, I appreciate all the work you guys put in this year. I know, starting in the off season, that's a big deal. You guys worked hard. Again, I think one of the things I'm learning about being here at Pocahontas is our students never give up, right? Never give up. Whatever's in front of us, we're going to tackle it. We're going to tackle it, right? You see that? See how I did that? I didn't even mean to do that. It's just special, I guess. So I appreciate all the work you guys put in, all the long hours, the working out, the practicing. I know Coach does. We've had multiple conversations about how proud he is of you guys and the work you put in. And Coach, anything you'd like to say about these guys?
These guys finished 7-5. We started out 2-3, but our first opponent was a 3A state champion, and they beat us in the last 30 seconds. Our fourth opponent was a 4A runner-up. They beat us, we fumbled on the half-yard line. And then they go to Nashville. In my opinion, it's one of the biggest playoff wins we ever had. We struggled with them throughout the years. I think we were 0-4 against them and against that conference, but we went to Nashville, beat them on their home turf. These guys have been great all year. Win or lose, they come to practice Monday ready to go. We didn't have a good matchup in the last game, but I couldn't be more proud of them.
So I appreciate it.
And I had nothing to do with their haircuts. It's all on them.
All right.
You had enough, you'd have went with
Yeah, I
it.
would have.
Thanks, guys. Listen, you guys are welcome to stay around for the rest of the meeting, but you are welcome to leave if you'd like to.
Go to the basketball game. Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Hey, man.
Come to the basketball game. Y'all be done. Y'all be done.
It's pretty big. It's pretty big. Thank you, Chad. Mr. Chad. Mr. Chad.
She knows better than that.
Okay, we'll just jump back in. Our second report is our student achievement report. This is that report that we do every month. And this month I wanted to dig into our interim assessment data. Our interim assessment is something that we do about 3 times a year. So what you have is you have our grade level data on ELA, the ELA interims, and then behind that you have the math interims. One of the reasons I shared it with you this way is I wanted you to be able to see where we're at from a district standpoint versus where we're at when compared to the state. So like if you'll look there at the first one on ELA, you'll see that the yellow is students who are below grade level. The 2 greens, the light green and the darker green, are students who are on grade level. Now, the light green is on grade level but with support. That's what that means. And so when you start looking at that in 3rd grade, you can see that across the state about 41% are students that are below grade level in third grade. Here in Pocahontas, we're looking at about 50% given our interim. Now, this is just, it's a dipstick, right? It gives us where kids are at that time of taking the test. Last time they took the test was the first week in December, right? So it's pretty relevant data right now. And one of the things that is beneficial about this is now that the state testing modules are all connected. The interim is connected to the summative. It's connected to the classroom level assessments that they're doing. The idea is that every time we take this assessment, it gives us a more holistic picture of and predictor of how we're going to do in the summative. So you can see that, you know, in third grade right now, they're predicting about 9% of our kiddos proficient, compared to 22% at the state level. When you look at this, ELA, I mean, I think it, especially in the early grades, it says we have more work to do, right? We obviously know that. I think we have the many of the right things in place. It's a process. It's going to continue to be a process. You know, we've got letters training, our second letters training that's coming up on January 6th. That's the PD day before kiddos come back. And that is all of our teachers up through 5th grade. And so I think, again, I think we have the tools in place that we need to have in place. Now it's just working the process, working the tools, implementing those tools. Now, I'm also going to tell you we're not resting on our laurels. Just because we have these things in place doesn't mean we're not going to look at other things, other tools to put in place. In fact, at the end of the action items tonight, you're going to see an agenda item on capturing kids' hearts. I think that, you know, we're looking at how do we make changes in the instructional component of the classroom. We also need to look at how we're making some changes in the cultural component of the classroom. And that's going to be a big part of that. And we can talk about that when we get there. I think you'll see as we get to the upper grade levels, we start closing some of those gaps. You know, and so again, like when you start looking at 10th grade, that gap closes quite a bit. It's still a gap there of about 6 percentage points, but that gap is closing. And so, again, I think what that tells us is we're doing the right things. You know, when we talk to the iReady folks, we talk to the state folks, they're saying we're doing the right things. We just need to keep doing the right things and working through that. You've also got math there. That is something that we continue to look at. You know, I'm working with, or I have Christian and Lori really helping us look at comprehensive math curriculum. What is that? You know, do we have the right things in place? Do we need to do something different? What is that going to look like? And so we're working through that. That is an ongoing process. We hope to have something to bring back to the board to make some decisions about in the spring around our math curriculum, because we are going to need to do something. But part of sharing this data is so that you understand that, yes, this is something that we are continually monitoring. We are making classroom adjustments to this data. We have buildings that have set aside time for interventions around this data. The iReady portal, teachers taking action on that. And so again, I think we're doing the right things. We just have to keep doing the right things. Any questions about the ELA or math interim data?
Looks like we're doing better on math than the state average, is that correct?
In certain places.
As far as percent proficient?
Yeah, in certain places, yes. Okay, anything else there? All right, let's move on to our informational item. I wanted to bring to your attention. I don't know that I think I may have shared some of this in a previous email, but I thought it would be good to give the board a report on this. In the early fall, we started looking at some of our federal money, and we wanted to find sort of out-of-the-box ways, if you will, to use that money to help support not only our kids but our families as well, particularly our migrant homeless kiddos, things like that. And so Mr. Green went to a federal coordinators conference and came back with this idea that has kind of turned into what we called the cart for kindness, or the cart of kindness. And what this is this is a way to support our most needy students. We joined in a partnership with HARPS to provide, I think it was $50, not gift cards, but vouchers. Thank you. That word's in here. I just have to read it, right? $50 vouchers to provide families who have maybe experienced food insecurity, need nutritious foods, things like that. And so you can see there on the second page, we have roughly 18 households that have been participating. That covers 47 children. Kathleen and her staff have distributed 34 vouchers with a redemptive rate of about 94% as of last week. That's when this data was collected. I will tell you that Craig has been tracking it down to the receipt, right? So we know what they're spending it on. We have agreements with HARPS that they can only spend it on certain things, right? Because that's important, and they've been I think they've been very good to work with on that. You can see some of the feedback that we've gotten from some of our families there on item 3 on that second page. Couldn't be more thankful. It's helped our family. We appreciate it. It's easy to use. We do have some challenges. I mean, any program that you start for the first time has some challenges. Kathleen and her team have identified that transportation is sometimes a challenge because we ask them to come pick up the vouchers during school hours. Sometimes that can be an issue. And we do know that families who are maybe larger than others, if you've got a family of 1 or 2 kiddos versus a family of 5 or 6 kiddos, we understand that the vouchers don't go quite as far for larger families. And obviously if that's something that, if we can continue this initiative going forward, that may be something we need to look at. But I do think it's been beneficial for our families. It allows them to reallocate some of their dollars, and with the families who are in need, obviously that reallocation is important.
How do we identify the families? Is it like teacher going to her and saying, hey, they need help? Is it?
Well, we code, for example, homeless, yes, when we know that we code them that way, and so that's where we started, is which of our kiddos are currently coded as homeless. And then, as new families come to Kathleen's attention because, a house fire hits or some kind of disaster happens, then we're able to fold them in.
I guess the school pays for this.
Yeah. Well, we're using we've reallocated our federal dollars, so we are facilitating it with the use of our federal money.
Let's see.
Any questions about the initiative? Okay. Then we can take a look at our action items. The first action item is monthly financials. You have in your packets the monthly financials. You have also the summary, the board report, the revenue summary, and the expenditure summary that I typically try to present or provide you. If there are any questions, be glad to answer those questions about those.
Anything jump out of the norm?
No, I wouldn't say out of the norm. You know, you'll notice on our Fund 6, which is our federal fund, you see a lot more red there. And that's because most of our federal dollars are reimbursable, right? We have to spend those federal dollars, then we ask for reimbursements from the state on those, and then we'll code those. So you will see that red go away the deeper into the school year that we get.
I'll make a motion to approve the financials.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the financials. Everybody in favor say yes.
Yes.
The motion passes 5-0.
Okay, let me get this. Jennifer and Brent. Okay, the next item we have, 6.2, is the early childhood MOU. Courtney's here to answer any questions that you have on that. You'll notice that this is an agreement between the Pocahontas School District and Crowley's Ridge Educational Co-op. They are, and Courtney, if I messed this up, please correct me, but we're going to provide some services for one of their kiddos, and we will be charging them $80 an hour to do that.
So the child lives in this area but goes to preschool here? Is that what this
Lives
says?
in Jonesboro, goes to Head Start.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the early childhood MOU.
Second.
A motion and a second. Everybody in favor of this motion say yes.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
You also have, item 6.3 is a tuition agreement with the Donnie Martin Center. Let me go back over here. Do it from over here so I can see it. We have one student that will be attending, attended in September. And does this student, Courtney, remind me, will that student be attending the rest of the year?
No, they're back.
Okay. So this is just for previous attendance.
So it's for the bolded area on the
Yes.
letter? Okay.
And they broke it down to the daily rate and then multiplied it by the amount of days the students there.
Okay. Make a motion to approve for the September tuition amount.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve this. Everyone in favor say yes.
Yes.
Okay, item 6.4 is the resolution. This was talked about and approved by both the classified and certified PPC. In essence, this is a resolution that would allow the district to provide additional compensation to each classified and certified employee in the amount of $500. This, if approved, this will be paid out this Friday during the December pay period. This is a budgeted item.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this $500 bonus. Everybody in favor say yes.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay. All right, 6.5 is the 3.10 modification. If you notice in your packet, this is the one, we talked about this last time, this is to add the notice of retirement into this policy. Again, just to summarize, if the retirement notice is provided on or before February 1st, stipend for the retired, or the individual intending to retire of $400 will be paid in May prior to the separation from the district. So in essence, and we are asking that, or I am suggesting, recommending that this policy be active as of the 24-25 school year. By making this change and making it active this year, anyone who retires this year would be eligible for the $400. If we don't make it for this, to apply it to this contract, then it would have to wait a year because it wouldn't go into effect until July. Both, on this one, certified PPC has approved of that addition to this year's contract.
So anybody that's already said, I'm retiring, this would go in effect for them too?
Yes, and in fact, the way it's written, if we have 4 employees who are currently retired but continued to work,
Okay.
they would also be considered, able to meet this qualification.
Okay. I like the motion.
What if you had somebody, I'm in favor of that, but what if you had somebody that medically become, where they had to retire in between?
February 1st and May 1st.
I mean, that probably likely would not happen.
I would, under the policy, if it's approved, they could retire, they just wouldn't be able to retire and receive the $400 stipend.
We could always revisit that if we have something came up.
You could. I'd want to be, based on my experience with the catastrophic leave policy, I'd want to be very specific on what that looked like. Because I'm not sure everybody's
I agree with you.
definition of catastrophic is the district's definition of catastrophic, so.
That looks good, man. Need a motion?
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to accept the secretary's recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this paragraph, redoing this bonus. Everybody in favor say yes.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay. 6.6 is policy 10.46. And on this one, let me get down to it. There was not a companion policy in the classified contract, and so I'm recommended to classified PPC that we implement a mirrored policy, a policy that would mirror the policy that you just reviewed for certified employees, that classified employees have the same opportunity. And so, in essence, what we've done is classified PPC has looked at this policy. They voted to approve this policy. This policy is the sister wording, if you will, to the certified policy, but applies to our classified employees. So it would provide them the same opportunity for the $400 stipend upon their retirement, using the same timeline.
Make a motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve this contract to $400 bonus paid to classified employees. Everybody in favor say yes.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, item 6.7. This is a new item this evening. I think I may have mentioned in a previous email or meeting, one of the things that the state has provided to school districts in grant form this year is a grant to facilitate professional learning communities in our schools. This is money that has been earmarked in the past for Solution Tree, and with the change in that structure moving forward, they've opened this up to districts. And so you'll see that if you look there, let's see, let me go over here, that we have been approved, that first item is we have been approved for a grant in the award amount of $65,784.22. The focus area that we presented, or I presented to the state, is strengthening instructional quality and then providing support, behavioral and mental health support for our kiddos. And my recommendation is that we would like to do that through Capturing Kids' Hearts. Capturing Kids' Hearts is a professional development experience that has been around for a while. I've talked to more than a couple of different superintendents in the state. Their districts have been running Capturing Kids' Hearts for almost a decade. They both have told me that it's one of, if not the best professional development their staffs have gone through. As I mentioned, to have successful classrooms, we have to have successful classroom cultures. We have to ensure that all kiddos feel connected, and we have to have high quality academic instruction going on. We have to have those simultaneously together. And so one of the things that I'd like to do is I would like to use this grant funding, and we're going to have to supplement it. We have some funds that we can use to supplement, because you'll notice on the second item there, we're talking about nearly $200,000 for this over a couple of year period, obviously. But the initial investment is, almost $140,000. And I think with the feedback that we get that I've gotten from our parents, when I get the feedback from surveys that we do, and we hear a lot about kiddos not treating kiddos the way maybe they should, whether that's bullying or they're being mean to each other or whatever that looks like. I think this is a signal. This is one, it's high quality professional development. I think it's worth our time. We're going to, my desire is to train every single adult staff member. We're talking from superintendent to principals, classroom teachers, our kitchen staff, our custodians, everybody. I think that's going to be important. And when we do that, and then we align with the academic work that we're doing, I think it sends a strong signal that we're listening to our community, right? Who are telling us that kids are having a rough time, whether it's the conversation about bullying, or it's not treating each other the way we should. And based on all my research, I think this is the piece, or this is a piece that'll be important to moving us forward long term. And that's why I'm willing to invest. And I think it would be my recommendation to the board is that we invest the nearly $200,000 it's going to take to pull this off.
So if I'm reading this right, it's 2 days for 50 people, basically?
No, it's 2 days for, if you add that up, that's 5 times 50 is 200, and then you got 20 more, so it's 270 people.
Quantity of 50 per each.
Per session, yeah, they can handle 50 in a group.
So is this done on like PD days, like the summer?
So, yes, I mean, one of the things that I hope to bring back when we're looking at the calendar is we're trying to reduce the number of PD days on the front end of the calendar. So I think we can get it done, you know, instead of doing 5 days at the beginning of the summer or at the beginning of August, I think we can get that down to 4. Now, one of the things that I've told PPC that I'm willing to give up is the district day, right? Because I think this, having having everybody 2 days doing this, we still need to provide a day to principals to do their building work, and then we need to provide a day to teachers that it's just theirs to do the work that they need to do to get ready for the school year. And so that squeezes us down to 4 days, and then we're looking at how do we facilitate other training days within the school year to finish out the, you know, we're going to have this we're working on. We're also going to be debriefing and further implementing volume 1 of letters. You know, that's the PD that we're doing this year. And I think it would, if we're going to, when we take this on, I think we kind of have to push pause on some other new learning. Not a bad thing, because I think that will allow us to really dig deep and get into the weeds on, are we implementing our literacy work, our literacy strategies at the highest level?
Yeah. Okay.
So the grant money that it's showing, that's just a one-time, that's not a yearly thing?
It could be yearly, but the state is not making that, they're not saying it's going to be yearly. They're not saying it won't be there in the future.
So could that grant be allocated to some of these spring of 26 payments if we got it again next year?
It could. We actually have, because what I'd probably do, what I'm looking at is using declining enrollment money.
Oh, okay.
And we have, between the PLC grant and the declining enrollment money, we have more than enough we need to cover it. We could just prepay the whole thing and
Got it, okay.
be done with it.
So the money's there.
The money is there, yes, ma'am.
Well, the money's there, but we could use it for other stuff, you know.
That is true. That's, I mean,
I don't know. I'm not an educator, and, you know, this seems like a lot of money for 250 people, but
This is
talking
your
400.
recommendation.
yeah, I mean, I again, with the feedback that we see, I mean, I'm not on Facebook, but I have people who show me things with feedback that's on there about, you know, bullying and those kind of things. I think this is one, it's good, it's high quality stuff. I'm not letting those comments drive my recommendation. But I do think this is a way that the district can point to and say, look, we're putting some real time, some real dollars into making an impact on how kids treat each other, how adults treat each other, how kids treat adults and adults treat kids. And
It just seemed like to me that's $400 a day per person. If you got 50 people in a group, and that's $20,000 per day that they're paying their instructors or their buildings or whatever, and it's just,
So it's roughly $800 a person.
yeah, for a 2-day seminar,
Which-
so $400 a day per person.
I mean,
You're talking 20,000. I feel like if they're trying to change child's lives, it's worth, you know, it should be much more affordable than that. you
it
know,
seems
but-
like a lot of money, but there's many years that I pay up to $2,000 for a 2-day training for my license. So I think $800 is not a lot. I mean, it sounds like a lot, but
I mean, how does that compare to other professional development
Right.
costs that they do?
I would say this is not as expensive as Solution Tree, right? I mean, I think Solution Tree is right now, they're charging something like $7,500 a day, right? It's more expensive than other professional developments. So, you know, I mean, one of the things, it is expensive, I'm going to say that, and the superintendents that I've talked to and the principals I've talked to that are involved in this and have been involved in this say it's well worth the money.
I'll just say this, Chad, from a continuing ed standpoint, from what I have to do for my career, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
I mean, I can get some that are cheaper than that, but I'll be honest with you, though, most of those cases are, people are getting those continuing ed hours to fill their continuing ed hours versus taking a course that actually is beneficial to you and the profession. They can get quite costly. I'm like Jennifer. I mean, I've paid up to $1,000 to $1,200 for a one-day course to, you know, educate
Advance.
myself, further educate myself in my profession. So
Well, I think it shows that we're being proactive in trying to deal with some of these issues that you've had to deal with the last years. So you got to do something. And if you've got feedback from other districts that this is a good program, that goes a long way. And even though I do agree it's expensive, but they're all expensive.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this Capturing Kids' Hearts program here. Everyone in favor say yes.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
I appreciate it. Like I said, I really do think this is going to be a game changer for some of our kiddos, and
I like that we're including like custodian, cafeteria, like, because they interact with the students just as much as the teachers.
yeah. All right. I don't have a whole lot of comments this evening. I mean, it's the last week before break, and we're in the middle of testing at the secondary levels and working through activities with our younger kiddos. Tonight, I mean, obviously you've noticed we got lots going on. I don't think we could have packed another event in with basketball and the winter festival and the band concert going on. So
I do, from our conference that we were at this week, I do want to get the trap team deal back on after that class I sat in. I want that to be a priority.
okay.
Because, I mean,
Is that a Coach Brewington? Is that AD? Would he
it'll
be?
fall under athletics.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, it's my understanding they don't want to be.
They don't want what?
They don't want to be part of the school district.
Trap?
Yeah.
No, if
Well,
like
Our
a school district
own
developed a
school
trap team.
Oh, to start our own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of those, okay.
yeah.
Because Mountain Home, they were the ones doing the presentation down there, and I mean, it just opens up more opportunities. And having the shooting complex we got here now, plus that money we got setting in an account, like I say, I'd like to move forward
Guys,
with it.
it's a tough subject on Gary.
But
It's been there for so long, Gary.
that's something I'd like to see
Okay.
us move forward on.
All right. Well, and on that note, I hope you get a chance to take a look at some of those resources that I sent. Some of those trainings we attended, some of them we didn't. I was really impressed with the artificial intelligence one. In fact, I've actually started kind of working on some things. It's kind of neat. So I don't know. I'm a little excited right now on that. So, but no, we'll take a look at the trap and the archery and see what we need to do to start getting that off the ground.
Yeah. I think we've kind of kicked that can as long as I've been on here. I mean, it's just.
Well,
like I say,
truthfully, I've let other things become priorities, and so we can move that to the front burner.
I think that's another interest that, we could retain or even have some kids come in.
Sure.
For.
Okay.
Well, we've explored the archery thing, which we talked about that about 8 or 10 years ago. And the fellow that runs that's a good friend of mine, and he was going to come up and make a presentation, but what we found out, we didn't have a place. We didn't have a place to put it.
We got it now.
Yeah.
Where,
The shooting range.
complex.
no, archery.
They can
Archery
do-
has to be indoors.
Has to be.
Yeah, they shoot indoors.
Okay.
Well, and so that's good information, right? We can gather all that and bring it back, and then
But
we can make some
I
determinations.
can talk
on
with it again, but that's a program I think would be really good, especially in middle school. Because that's usually your age.
Thank goodness we don't have to have trap inside, so we can
Yeah.
move forward. with
Yeah,
this.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say this, being back home from Missouri, just having been home one time, and one good friend of mine is in the Missouri School District, and he's the archery coach, and it's huge in southeast Missouri.
Yeah.
I mean, because it doesn't matter how big the school is, small school, big school, you know, it's relatively inexpensive the way he explained it to me. As far as space goes, they did it in the gym, basketball gym.
Yeah.
So they had huge tournaments because they had two different gymnasiums, the high school and the junior high, running basically simultaneous. And they're kind of got different categories as far as like target shooting versus like animal silhouette shooting, and the kids just cycle through. And
We've got several gyms we can use.
it was, I mean, it was kind of impressive now.
Right.
I mean,
It's
in
a
overall
really
cost, I don't
good
know what it
program.
is, but there was tons of kids at that
It's
event
something
that I
that, you know,
attended, that's for sure.
if we definitely were interested in that, I think, you know, I could talk to some people that we might could get in for no cost. We'd have to have a sponsor.
Right,
But, the startup cost would be, I think we could get that paid for.
Okay.
I feel like we have plenty of men that like to hunt around here that would like to sponsor that stuff, type
Has to
of.
be established.
Right, I mean, what's what I'm saying, like that like to do that stuff, that would like to sponsor
Yeah,
a
we've
group
got,
like that.
well, one lady, I think she works for you, Chad. She's one of your employees. I talked to her one day, and they're big into archery. We talked about archery in schools, and I can't remember her name, but she said she would definitely be interested in having a female, you know, to help us too. That she would definitely be interested in helping us, volunteering. So,
I'd just like to see us utilize our shooting complex,
Yeah.
you know, with the school team also.
Sure. Okay. All right. Anything else on any of that? Then we would probably need to.
The board's going to move into executive session for purpose of employees
And it's 6:24.
at 6:20.
Okay, we're back in session.
All right, well, back in session of the Pocahontas School Board meeting. Out of exec, do you have something you recommend?
We have 2 items on the personnel agenda, so we're recommending for hire Tiffany Nixon to serve in the M.D. Williams cafeteria and to Ann Vance to serve at the high school cafeteria. So we're making that the recommendation of those 2 hires this evening.
A motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve these new hires. Everyone in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
And then you have in your packet the transfers. None of those were denied, so that's just for your information. With that, we just need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
So moved.